All right, my name's Girard, and I'm here to talk to you today about fluoroquinolone toxicity. Fluoroquinolones are a class of antibiotics that are overprescribed and they're incredibly dangerous. We've gathered here today at Queen's Park in front of the Ontario Legislative Assembly building to share what's happened to us and to try and raise awareness about this incredible problem. Each of us probably represents thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have been floxed but have no idea what happened to them. And we use the word floxed because every one of these drugs has the word fluoxetine in their names. Some of the fluoroquinolone antibiotics are ciprofloxacin and levofloxacin, which is Levaquin, and there's Avalox. And in Canada, there's also Floxin and perhaps some others. These drugs were designed and originally approved by the FDA as last resort options to be used when all the other antibiotics had already been tried and there was really nothing else except the option of using these dangerous drugs. However, they're cheap to make and Big Pharma is able to sell them for quite a bit of money, so they've become the pharmaceutical industries who push these drugs, and they have misinformed the doctors and other people in the medical community to get them to believe that these drugs are much safer than they actually are. And the result of this is that when a patient has an adverse reaction to one of these drugs and goes to their doctor dismisses them as being ridiculous because he has been told and has read that these drugs are incredibly safe. And so then this doctor does not report the incident, and it perpetuates the problem, leaving other doctors believing these drugs are incredibly safe. And so this is a common phenomenon, pretty much the norm for everybody that shows up in our Facebook groups and reads what's going on and realizes that yes, they've had all these symptoms that are listed in the product literature, and they've tried to tell doctor after doctor the case, and we all face the same thing. The doctors just don't believe us. And in the meantime, we have medical problems as horrible as cancer, and it's like cancer eating at us through our bodies. And the medical community that did this to us fails to provide us recognition, let alone treatment. We don't get the help that we need. We get treated as if we're nuts, and we're dismissed, and the doctors are even often abusive, and this has to stop. But we're here today to establish these rallies as an annual thing, and we need to speak to politicians that meet behind us in order to try and get the laws changed so that it's much more difficult for a doctor to prescribe these drugs. They should be taken from the market. If they can't come up with a way to restrict access to these drugs to very limited situations, then it would be better to just eliminate them entirely from the marketplace, because they're doing more harm than good. Of course, the statistics out there don't show this because the doctors aren't reporting it in 99 out of 100 cases or 999 out of 1,000 cases. So the numbers, even there are thousands and thousands of us in the Facebook groups and other online communities, and the numbers are growing faster and faster and faster. People show up every day, and the same thing. Their doctors didn't believe them, and they have all the same symptoms, or mostly. We suffer a phenomenon of fluoroquinolone toxicity, or being floxed, involves damage from head to toe, because these antibiotics are actually chemotherapeutics. They're just a simple chemical that travels anywhere in the body. The pharmaceutical industry, in their promotional literature, brags about this, that if you have an infection in your bone marrow or inside the blood-brain barrier or other remote places inside the body, these drugs will go there and they will fight infection in these tough-to-get-at places. So the drugs have their place, but they're just overprescribed by a factor of thousands or tens of thousands. Every now and then, it should make the newspaper. Somebody had such a horrible flesh-eating bacterial infection that they had to bust out the Levaquin, and that's how rare it should really be. And instead, we have doctors handing it out like candy, prescribing it for people with sniffles and with urinary tract infections, and even just in case. There are people that have this horrible damage from head to toe who have been given the drug just in case. And that is such a horrific tragedy. In my case, I actually needed the drug. It probably saved my life. But what happened is that, as usual, the doctor prescribed too much in each day, and he prescribed it for too long, and he prescribed it in conjunction with other drugs that are not supposed to be taken at the same time. So even though it saved my life, and I'm grateful for that, it also gave me blood clots, it gave me spontaneous tendon ruptures and cartilage lesions that required a transplant from a dead child. I have blood pressure, rapid blood pressure fluctuations, stomach problems, chronic diarrhea that you couldn't believe, headaches and confusion and brain fog and all sorts of damage in my head that is just horrible. And the list just goes on and on and on. I had to have veins cut out of my legs. I've had broken blood vessels. It's hard to even remember the list. I've got, all of a sudden I had 6 bulging discs. I used to be a strong athletic man living in Colorado, and I had to basically run back to Canada where I can get medical care. And I'm grateful for that, but that's the problem we're addressing here, is that there are many, many people who have had horrible things happen to them, and it's not right that these things have happened, and then they end up costing society incredible amounts of money. The treatment for, not just one condition, but damage from head to toe in victims is incredibly expensive. Surgeries on the feet, surgeries on the stomach, surgeries on the back. And so that's what we're here to talk about and share with people. We have awareness cards, and we have our booth with the posters, and we're hoping to be back here year and year after, and with a growing crowd. And unfortunately, we don't want to see people that have this happen to them, but they will, because the system is the way it is, and until we get it changed, our numbers will just keep growing and growing. And so that's what I have to say. Thank you all, and please don't take these drugs unless you really need them.